When you think about Europe, I can almost guarantee that you're not thinking about the country of Moldova. How do I know that? Because it's the least visited country in all of Europe. Only about 90,000 foreign visitors in 2025, and that was a 35% increase over 2024. So there are not a lot of people that come here. But my plan is to spend the next couple of days exploring this country to find out if it's actually a hidden gem or if there's a reason why nobody comes here. All right, there's our ride. My guy.
See you.
What's good?
You don't have a big bag?
No.
Oh, okay.
How many people live here? In the city?
1 million. So the whole country's, they say 3, but really in the country it's like 2.5. It's really small in general. Like if you drive it like east to west, it'll probably be like 3-4 hours.
Wow.
North to south.
That's a small
maybe
country.
Like 6.
So and then north of here is like what country borders you to the north?
Still Ukraine.
Okay.
So Ukraine pretty much
north and
covers
east.
the whole thing,
Okay.
except one, the west is just Romania, and then the whole
Got it.
around is Ukraine. There you go.
There we go. All right, guys, we have arrived at our apartment here in Moldova, right in the center of the city. This was $40 a night, 40 USD. Okay, I am impressed. Take a look at this. We got a whole living room here with a nice couch. Looks like maybe a coat closet here. Yep, that's exactly what that is. And then you got like a little sitting area here, more storage probably. Yep. Oh, they even give you like slippers. Ah, there is our laundry. We are absolutely gonna need that. Honestly, the laundry was part of the reason that we booked this place, because I only have enough clothes in my backpack for 5 days and I'm on day 4 of my trip. So I only have enough for tomorrow before I need to absolutely do laundry. Let's check out the kitchen before we get into the bedroom. So it looks like we have a refrigerator here, and I'm gonna guess freezer. Yes, freezer, whole sink area, countertop, stove. We even have an oven and a microwave. This is a really nice place, guys, and we have a whole dining room table, and they were kind enough to give us some water. All right, now the piece de resistance. Let's check out the bedroom. King size bed, more slippers, towels, pillows, more storage, plenty of outlets, everything that we need here. We got air conditioning, although honestly it doesn't really feel like we need it, but it's nice to have. And you know we always got to give it a quick bed test, so let's try this. Oh, that is very comfortable. It's firm, but it's also kind of soft. This comforter is really nice. No complaints about this at all. Very, very good on the bed. And then there's just one thing that we haven't seen yet, and that's the bathroom. Very nice. Very, very nice. This whole place just feels so luxury. Very nice glass shower, plenty of space here by the sink. Yeah, this will definitely work for 4 days. For $40 a night, 40 USD per night for this. This is fantastic. All the hotels in the area were like $120, $125 at least per night. And I went on booking.com and I was like, yo, there's like luxury apartments right in the center of the city. This wasn't even the cheapest one. There were ones that were cheaper, but I really liked this one in the pictures. So I sprung for $40. I splurged for a $40 a night luxury apartment. So this is what we got. This is where we are for the next 4 days. I need to go shower and go to sleep because I am exhausted. And tomorrow when I wake up, we will go and explore the city of Chisinau, Moldova. See you in the morning. Oh, good morning. It's our first full day here in Chisinau, Moldova. I'm pretty excited to get out there and start exploring the city. So my plan is to walk up the whole main boulevard here, all the way from our apartment, which is literally right here in the center of the city, all the way up to the central market, and there should be some things that we can take a look at along the way. So let's go. I'm already seeing, even just on this little side street off the main boulevard by my apartment, there's a bunch of like cafes and restaurants and stuff. So it seems like it's kind of like a very local area, even though it's just right off the biggest thoroughfare of the entire city. So we're on the main boulevard now, and I'm gonna try my best not to totally butcher the pronunciation, but I probably will. It's the Boulevard Stefan cel Mare Sisfunt. And I absolutely apologize for not being able to say that properly, but that is where we're walking right now. And this is really like the main drag here, all the way through the city. And you can already see it. There are all these big buildings here, really, really old, classic Soviet era kind of buildings. A lot of these buildings are back from that era, right? Moldova has a long history as part of the USSR, so a lot of these buildings kind of date back to that time. And even here, literally a block from my hotel, you can see it starting, because this is the central court of Chișinău. And you can tell from the style of the building, it's literally basically just a giant block of concrete. It really is in that kind of brutalist architecture style, and that's just because of the era that it comes from. And then literally right next to it is the presidential palace. So historically this was actually the primary residence for the president of Moldova, but these days it's more of just an administrative building. It was stormed by protesters a while back, and the inside of it was pretty heavily damaged, so it wasn't really usable for a while. And then back in, I think it was 2019, I could be wrong on that, they finished fixing it back up, and it kind of just became an administrative building. But it's still referred to as the presidential palace. But originally it was built in the 1980s, so you can see kind of how it still has remnants of that Soviet imperialist kind of vibe, you know? Or at least you could see it if there weren't all these trees blocking it. And that's something else that's really unique about Chișinău. It's known as the greenest capital in Europe. So there's a ton of trees, there's tons of parks, just a lot of nature, especially for being literally right in the middle of the capital city. It's pretty uncommon to have this much green and this much space dedicated to trees and nature and parks and stuff in, you know, otherwise very desirable real estate, right? Real estate that's really valuable. It's rare to kind of see so much of that space dedicated just to public enjoyment, rather than either government buildings or monetizing it. One thing I can definitely say is that it's a little warm, but it's not as warm as I think it's really supposed to be. This time of year is usually very hot. It's usually like the peak heat of the year. But we only have 81 degrees Fahrenheit today as a high. The sun is definitely out. It's definitely strong, but it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot more miserable for me to be trying to do this long walk outside. This is fairly pleasant. It's a little warm, but it's pleasant enough. And as we were talking about like green spaces and parks, here is one of them. So this is the Stephen the Great Central Park, and obviously named after the same Stephen the Great that the main boulevard there is named after. He's basically the big famous ruler of Moldova from way back in the day. He's basically considered to be like the greatest historical ruler that the country ever had. So they've named a lot of stuff after him, including this park. And with the park being over 200 years old, a lot of these trees are just about as old because they were planted when the park opened, and they're still here. They haven't been removed, so many of these trees, especially the bigger ones that you see, they are really, really old, basically dating back to the beginning of the park. And again, you know, it's pretty uncommon for a capital city to dedicate this much space right in the middle of the city to a park. You know, obviously New York is not a capital, but there's a central park there, and it's huge. But I mean, this is 17 acres in a relatively small city. You know, it's a lot of space to dedicate to public use and public enjoyment, where a lot of other cities would be like, hey, we could monetize this somehow. You know, we could bring in tax revenue for the city by putting business here or selling the land or something like that. But this city has chosen to make it a public use space, and it's really nice. One side benefit for me, definitely, and probably a lot of other people, is that it gives me a place to walk in the shade, because as soon as I got under these trees here, I feel like the temperature of my body just dropped, and it's significantly more comfortable than walking in the sun. But I think that time is about to come to an end. Yep, and I'm hot again. But that's okay, because we are now at one of the most famous landmarks in all of Chișinău, the statue of Stephen the Great. And like I told you, they really love Stephen the Great here. He is basically held as like the best ruler that the country ever had back when it was Moldavia, and he ruled it from the late 1400s to the early 1500s. And they've dedicated a lot of things in this city to him, including this statue. One of the interesting things about the statue is that it was made in 1928, but obviously, you know, 10 or so years later, World War II got started. So they actually moved the statue to Romania because they didn't want it to get destroyed, and then it was brought back after the war. And one of the reasons that Stephen the Great is considered such an incredible ruler for the country is that he basically tried his hardest to defend them against all of the people that wanted to take over the country, especially like the Ottomans during that time. And he was very successful at it. And he also was known as like a builder. He built a lot of churches and monasteries and things like that. So he wasn't just a great military leader, but also kind of as a builder for the country. So he's highly regarded both in the military sense and in the overall leadership sense. I am incredibly thirsty. I'm gonna try and grab a water here at this little stand. Hello. Do you have a still water? Just water? Yeah, one.
Normal gas?
No gas.
Card, da?
Card.
Ai moment.
Okay, no problem.
Prophylactic.
I might have cash actually. Hang on.
Da?
We have smaller bills, guys. We have a 50 and a 20. What's best? And that, my friends, is why we get cash when we get to a new country, because sometimes the card machines don't want to cooperate. That helps. That helps a lot. While we're standing here, we can take a look at some of the Moldovan money. We got a couple of coins, which are really, like, these look brand new. I mean, look how shiny that is. And they're all like that. So this is 2 leo, this is 10 leo, and then 1 leo. These all look literally brand new, like these could be made yesterday. And then here is the 20 leo note, and then we have a 50 as well. And then here's what the 200 note looks like. And this building on the back, I'm not sure exactly what that building is, but it's a really nice looking bill. And these are like very crisp, very new feeling as well, same as the coins. And where we're standing right now is the entrance to yet another park, which is directly across the street from the Stephen the Great Central Park. This is the Cathedral Park. So you have 2 big parks right smack in the middle of the center of the city, right in the government district. And just again, a lot of green space, a lot of shade. It's really nice, and it kind of helps quiet things down, I feel like, too. You even have like a restaurant here, looks like maybe an ice cream shop as well. And then there's like a little coffee stand and the kiosk where we just bought the water. So Moldova is not currently in the EU, but they are a candidate, and they have begun their accession negotiations. And actually the most recent round of negotiations, the biggest so far, just started about 3 weeks ago. So they are targeting getting into the EU. I think their target is 2030, but I could be mistaken on that. So don't quote me. And as I'm walking, there's just something I noticed, which is like everywhere you look, you can tell that effort has been put into maintaining just a really clean, positive look for the city. Just everything from like these structures over here all the way to like the flower beds here and kind of how this is all arranged to the structure here. Like there's so much to look at here everywhere you look. And that's not always the way that cities work. Like there's so many times where I'm walking through a city and I'm like, yeah, it looks nice, but like it's just a city. And like none of this stuff stands out from any other city. This one, it really stands out. Something else that I noticed here, there are a lot of public seating and relaxing options. Like they have all these benches kind of built into the layout of the park. And there's tons of like regular benches over there all throughout the park. It was the same thing in the Central Park. I saw a ton of places to sit. And that's really interesting because a lot of cities purposely don't do that because they don't want to encourage like homeless people sleeping. They put, you know, like you see them a lot in New York. You see those like little like bumps or spikes on certain features that would otherwise be places that people could lay down if they needed to. And they try and discourage that. But this city really doesn't. It seems like it prioritizes public comfort, public enjoyment. And I'm really getting that feeling as I walk through here. That's definitely the predominant vibe of the city for sure. All right, no use sitting for too long. Let's get back up and start making our way over towards the Central Market. One other thing that I'm noticing here is just how like wide and pedestrian friendly all of the sidewalks seem to be. Like you could put like 3 lanes of traffic here. You know, you could totally open up this roadway and make it significantly wider, but they're prioritizing pedestrians and people who are just walking or biking, scootering. They have like electric scooters dotted all over the city, and they have bike lanes on almost every street that I've seen so far. It's obviously still early days, but if you want my very first impressions of Chisinau, Moldova, they are very good, very impressed. The vibes seem to be high in this city. Everybody seems chill going about their lives. Especially, I will say this, as a vlogger and a content creator, people sometimes warn you against going to Eastern European countries. They say like people aren't as open to cameras and people filming, and you get a lot of weird looks and people tell you to turn off the camera. I haven't experienced any of that yet. I haven't noticed any weird looks, and I'm usually pretty sensitive to that stuff. I try not to cause an issue where I go, so if people are not a fan of the camera, I am usually the very first person to be willing to shut it off and just tell you what I saw later. But I haven't experienced any of that. Everybody just kind of seems to be going about their lives, going about their business. Now, next week, the video I'm posting is a trip to Transnistria, which is a breakaway region of Moldova. They basically want independence from Moldova, and they're much more aligned with Russia. And I am not so sure that they're going to like cameras there. Apparently, the border can be a bit tricky. There's Russian soldiers guarding the border there, so it can be a little bit intimidating, and I'm not so sure how that's going to go. So if you want to stick around and make sure you get to watch that video and see me deal with that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications so you're notified when that video goes live next week. Okay, given the number of people that are here and the fact that out of nowhere a bunch of street vendors popped up, I am assuming this is where the market starts. So welcome to the Central Market of Chisinau. Remember what I was just saying about how wide the sidewalks were and how much room you had to just kind of walk and chill? suddenly it just became the total opposite of that. Oh wow, we have like different fruits and vegetables being sold. Just saw like cherries. There's some kind of vegetable that I couldn't identify. Different breads. And all these like herbs. Looks like basil, parsley. This is very, very difficult to maneuver here. I feel like I'm very in the way. I'm gonna turn down this side street here. And if you've been watching this channel for any period of time, you know that I love a marketplace. It's my favorite place in every new city that I go to because it gives you an idea of how the locals shop and eat and what ingredients they use. When you start seeing the same things at stalls over and over again, you know that those are staples for the locals of that area. Different spices, different meats, things like that. Certain vegetables that you just see over and over again, so you know that people are using those all the time, otherwise they wouldn't be sold by, you know, like literally everybody. Now I'm hoping we can kind of get around the language barrier here because there's really two main languages predominantly spoken here, and those are Romanian and Russian. I don't speak either of them. So we've now entered the actual official market as soon as we came under that archway. Everything we've seen so far, I think, is just people kind of setting up shop in the general vicinity of the market. But now we're inside it, so let's see what the actual central market here in Chișinău is like, the largest market in the country. Right off the bat, you can see we have all different kinds of things. We even have like meat grinders here. I've never seen a meat grinder just sold at a market like that. You have like old radios and everything. It's a really eclectic selection of items, everything from like batteries to meat grinders to soccer balls to old radios to blenders. Definitely a lot of cooking appliances. You even have, I think these are almost like cauldrons, right? I've never seen a cauldron just sold at a market before. But then you also have soccer balls. Again, this is one of those things I love about the markets. You never know what you're going to find here. And we're only just getting started. Wow, guys, check this out. Look at all the cherries. Fresh cherries. And then these, I think these are peaches. I'm not actually sure what those are. They might be peaches. They look a little different than the peaches that I'm used to. And this man's walking selling bread. He has different like breads all kind of wrapped up individually. Look at these fresh strawberries. These are the darkest colored strawberries I've ever seen. In the US, they're usually like bright red. These are much darker. And even more cherries in the back. And then there's more strawberries and cherries over there. And if we keep walking, I have a feeling, yep, right on cue, more strawberries and cherries. So this is what I was saying before about when you start seeing things sold over and over again, you kind of know what's in season, what's popular in that area, because we saw the woman outside the market also selling cherries. So it seems like cherries are a pretty popular thing here. And then also bananas. Looks like really small peaches. These are even smaller than the other ones that were over there. Maybe these aren't peaches. If you're watching this and you know what these are, drop a comment and let me know, because I'm not really confident that these are peaches. See, now these look like peaches to me. These are definitely peaches. These, I don't know. Oh my god, and you can see just how deep this goes. It just keeps going and going and going all the way back. And there's a massive covered area here. Let's go in here, we'll get out of the sun, and we'll see if there's anything interesting in here. Look at all the fish. So you can come here and you can literally just buy fish straight from here. Looks like different kinds of fish. I honestly couldn't tell you what these are. I am not a fish specialist. I think they might have been frozen because usually with fresh fish, you can smell it. And oh look, more cherries. But with fresh fish, you can usually smell it. And I was standing literally right next to it. And couldn't smell it at all, so I have a feeling they were frozen. Wow, look at this, an entire table of, looks like different potatoes. Everything from like small fingerling potatoes up to like bigger, kind of like russet potatoes, and here we go, these are kind of like the size potatoes I'm used to seeing. at supermarkets where I live, but I don't usually see like the really small potatoes like this. I guess these are these fingerling potatoes maybe? I'm not sure. And then it looks like onions. Again, all of these look really small. Maybe these are shallots. Shallots are usually a different color though. But like, these don't look as big as normal onions. Actually over there, those look more sized like normal onions. These look very, very small. Why are there so many smaller fruits and vegetables than what I'm used to? Is this a thing here? One of the things about this market is that the vast majority of this stuff is grown locally. So outside the city, there is a ton of farmland, and they will basically just grow everything and then bring it to the city to sell. And in my Transnistria video that I'm gonna post next week, you should be able to see some of that farmland, because I think we're gonna have to drive through it in order to get there. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and come back for that one. Look at all of these different like grains. I think some of these are spices, but yeah, these all look like different grains. That almost looks like corn kernels. I think that's what they are. Yeah, having a Romanian speaker here with me would definitely help, because I can't read any of these signs. It just goes on and on and on. All these different grains, and yeah, here's more of that like corn kernel stuff. I wish I knew what this was. Okay, I just tried to Google Translate what that says, and I must have spelled something wrong, because that's what I got, and I don't think that's what that means. I'm gonna see if I can ask. Hi, how are you? Question. What is this one? This one? It's like corn? What's best? Yeah, like I thought. Language barrier was going to be a problem, but I do think she said it was corn. They might be pressing fresh pomegranate juice here. Yes, I think that's exactly what's happening here. Look, fresh pomegranates, and then they have the juicer here. It looks like maybe you can also get lemonade as well, because they have the fresh lemons. If there was somebody actually there doing it, I would probably get one, but I don't see anybody. I definitely do need some food though. My stomach is starting to go a little crazy. I honestly kind of wish I could just buy a couple of cherries and eat those, because they look really good and really fresh, but unfortunately I don't have a way to wash them really here, and that is probably not a good idea, to eat unwashed fresh produce. Check this out, all these like dried fruits. Looks like raisins, looks like maybe dates as well. Looks like a couple of different kinds of raisins, like golden raisins, other raisins. Oh my god, and pistachios. Pistachios are my favorite nuts of all time. I would kill for a good handful of pistachios right now. The problem is it seems like they're only sold in this big bag, and I don't have room in my backpack, unfortunately. Sorry? How much is a bag of pistachios? Maybe I'll grab one. $2.25. Okay. Yeah, I wish I had room for a full bag of pistachios like that in my backpack, but I don't. Look at these like different wallets and travel bags. Like, if I lost this thing, I could certainly get a replacement here. These actually look really, really nice. Like very good quality. Maybe I just need to buy another bag so I can fill up my backpack with pistachios. Oh yeah, I could smell these as I was going up to them, all these different like spices and everything. Hi, how are you? Good. I can smell it from all the way over there. It smells so good. Look at all these different different spices and things. And you also have like different like prepackaged spices as well. So if you don't want the fresh stuff, you can go for this, which I'm assuming is probably a little bit cheaper. Seems like we're getting into the raw meat section. Looks like chicken, more chicken. This is like 3 or 4 chicken stalls in a row. Make that 5, 6, 7. There's so much raw chicken. Oh my god. More raw chicken. More raw chicken. There's so much chicken. Okay, we're done with chicken. We found fish. I remember what I said before about how at the other fish stall that I couldn't really smell the fish, so I thought it was frozen. That one, I could definitely smell it. So that is probably like not frozen, all fresh. Whoa, what is this? There's an inside part here. Whoa. Meat, and more meat. Wow, look at all the different meat. You can smell it, guys. You walk in here and it just right up the nostrils. All the spices, the smokiness of the cured meats. It smells really, really, really good. Hi, how are you? Deutsch? Oh, ein bisschen. Ein bisschen Deutsch. Was ist das? Okay. Oh, wow. Thank you. Oh, sehr gut, sehr gut. Dankeschön. Auf Wiedersehen. Wow, that's the first time in ages I've been able to use my German. And I was so taken aback when she said Deutsch. I was like, what? That was fun. Yeah, that was really good. It was like a ham. She just cut like a really thin slice of ham for me to try. That was really, really good. Of all the languages I was expecting to hear in this market, German was certainly not one of them. And here, look, we have different like cheeses and things. And of course more meats, ham, salami, all that kind of stuff. So it all looks amazing. So it looks like if we go out this way, then we're outside of the official market again. And we're back on like the streets, kind of off to the side with the vendors who just kind of set up around the market here. I'm gonna walk back up this way, see if we can find any food. Strangely though, having that one piece of ham actually helped settle my stomach. Okay, so I did some Googling and I think I figured out what that almost like fried looking bread thing is. I think it's plăcintă. So it's like a fried bread and there should be some kind of stuffing in it. Let's see if we can grab one here. So one is it plăcintă? Okay, with pranza. Cheese?
Chișinău.
Okay, can I yeah, just one? Just
Cabbage and chicken.
Oh, there's one with chicken.
Chicken.
I'll try the chicken. One chicken.
One
Yeah.
chicken.
Mulțumesc. Here we go, we got it. So this is pâteau with chicken. I don't actually know what pâteau is exactly, but why don't we give it a go and find out? Okay guys, so we just picked this up from a street vendor. It's called pâteau, and it's got chicken inside. Let's take a look at what this actually looks like here. It looks like a fried bread, almost like a shallow fried bread. And she said it's stuffed with chicken, and it was 17 Moldovan leu. Let's just go ahead and give this a go. It's a little bit warm. It doesn't look that greasy. The inside of the bag only has like a little bit of grease on it. It doesn't really look crispy. It looks kind of floppy, but here we go. The pâteau with chicken here in Chișinău, Moldova. So you can see it's got this like shredded chicken on the inside. Let's take another bite. That's really good. It's hard to describe. It's almost got like a sweetness to it. You can definitely taste the oil in the bread. And the chicken tastes really familiar. There's some kind of like familiar seasoning on it. I just can't put my finger on it, but it has a little bit of sweetness. It almost tastes like there's a cheese mixed in there as well, which is possible. Originally I was asking her for the cheese one, but then she told me she had a chicken one too, and I figured, let's try that. Here, if we take a look inside, you can see the shredded chicken. This is a really good little snack for street food. And this was literally less than $1 US. It was about 97 cents. And I mean, just look at that. It's pretty sizable. This is half. So if you look closer, you can see there's some like diced onions in there, really finely diced onions. That's giving it some extra flavor for sure. And then I think there might be just a little bit of cheese in here. I can't tell for sure, but this is really good. And the more I eat of it, the more I like it. All in all, I think I'm giving this fried bread with chicken street food here in Chisinau, Moldova, an 8 out of 10. This is really damn good. And I think that's gonna just about do it for our time at the Chisinau Central Market. So overall, my first impressions of this city, having walked a big chunk of downtown, walked the markets, eaten some street food, I love this place already. Definitely there is a little bit of a language barrier here, although apparently I was able to speak German with somebody that I didn't expect. But the woman with the fried bread spoke a little bit of English, which helped. And really, I think overall, my first impression of the city is that it's built for locals, right? This is not a tourist city. There's not a bunch of like tourist attractions that, you know, are heavily populated and there's just a million people pushing and shoving you in every direction like a lot of other capital cities. That's not what this city is about. This city is about locals. It's about the people that live here. It has a very local, very chill vibe. And I love that. Those are the kind of places that I like to travel. So, my first impressions of Chisinau, overall, I love it. And I will definitely be enjoying the next couple of days that I get to spend here. And I hope you do as well. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. I bet you they've never seen Chisinau before. They may not even know that Moldova exists or be able to point to it on a map. A lot of people that I told that I was going here literally asked me like, what, are you going to the Maldives? Is that what you said? And I'm like, no, Maldives are different than Moldova. So share this video with a friend, make sure you give it a like, and of course, subscribe to the channel because I have more videos coming, including the next one where I go to the breakaway region of Transnistria. That is gonna be very interesting, I think. I'm a little bit nervous for it. That's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next video. Peace.